So today we are excited to host Naresh Dulam, the Senior Vice President of Software Engineering at JPMorgan Chase. So Naresh is a visionary technology leader with deep expertise in data analytics, cloud computing, and artificial intelligence areas. So throughout his career, he has played a key roles across healthcare, telecom, and financial services, right? And leading transformative initiatives and driving innovation projects at his companies, right? Again, a big thank you to Naresh for joining us today and being here.
Yep. Thank you, Mohana. Thank you for having me here.
Awesome. So today's format is we'll have like 30 minutes of discussion, chat with Naresh, and the audience. So please feel free to drop your questions in the messaging chatbot there, so that we can take it up at the end. Okay, sounds good. So let's dive right in. So Naresh, before going into AI, LLMs, etc., I would love to, and I'm sure the audience here would love to know a little bit about yourself, both personally and professionally, and maybe a little bit of your role at JP Morgan.
Sure. Thank you, Mohana. First of all, a little disclaimer. So all my opinions here are mine. Those don't represent my current or previous organization, just for the disclaimer. Having said that one, um, uh, it's my honor to be here. I had an opportunity to listen some of the previous podcasts from the other leaders, and the future is inspiring by listening to them. I'm glad to be part of this network. My name is Naresh Dulam, and I work as a senior architect in specializing in the big data, cloud, and AI in a highly regulated industry. I started my career as a developer a few years back in the research and development of a product supply chain execution. Then latter part of my career, I got interested into the data and with these big data sets. That was the time the data was booming, big data, 2008, 9, that was the time. So then I transitioned my career from an application development to still an application development, but on the big data side. And since then, I have been part of a lot of organizations where we are building these data analytics platforms and modernizing the legacy systems to the new platforms. And in the last few years, I led a lot of cloud initiatives like moving away from the on-premise to the cloud, as well as these all the projects around these implementing the data AI systems, mainly the analytics systems, and recently is more onto the AI systems. Uh, Apart from that, on personal note, I enjoy mentoring the technologies. I do a lot of mentoring sessions through various platforms, and also I try to share my knowledge through the either writings. And recently, I have released my first book. The book was Generative AI for the software engineers. It's basically helping the people overwhelmed with the AI content how to get started on the AI. So they go in 100 different directions. So I try to make it give a directions using that book. That's a quick introduction about me.
That is awesome. I didn't realize you released a book, Naresh. You're saying it so casually, and I know it's a big deal. So, so
Thank
no,
you.
I think that's right on, right? I hope that book helps more people coming into the AI space. It's very crowded at this point, right? Like, people are trying to figure out where to start, what to do. I'm sure your book will shed some light on that.
Yeah.
So, you mentioned, right, interestingly, so in the 2010s, 11-ish, then the big data boom came in, right? A lot of the Hadoop technologies, etc. And then it went to cloud computing. Now we started, and AI, it kind of took off overnight, kind of a thing, right? I mean, it was been brewing underneath the surface, but once ChatGPT came on the scene, it just took off, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
during all these eras, right, of big data, cloud computing, now the AI, so how you think your role has evolved across these different eras of technology?
Oh yeah. So yeah, the generative AI, the chat GPT is definitely expanded the scope of everybody's work. Like
Hmm.
it's both the technologies as well as the business people. I could still remember that my role as an architect prior to the chat GPT, like building the data platforms, data pipelines, and getting the insights out of them.
Hmm.
But post the GPT, it was like my priorities, the business priorities, I would say that they shifted towards more focus on these generative AI. How can we use these cutting edge models available to us? As
Right.
a technologist, I would say that definitely my productivity has gone a lot. Like these tools helping me to schedule the meetings, or writing the code, and doing the quick prototype very quickly.
Hmm.
Uh, so with that, the business is also wanted, how can we increase my productivity with these tools are coming up? And in fact, with the chat GPT, they wanted every screen they go in the system, I wanted the chat capability. I would ask a question and get me an answer out of it. I don't want to type anything, like it's a natural conversational. That's what the business looking out of
Yeah.
all the advancements having coming up. So, and we some of the product solutions we implemented, like on the looking at the dashboards and reports, the users can ask the questions on that in a natural language and get in a report and send an email to the business at the stakeholders, whoever it is. So these
Hmm.
are the capabilities they wanted. And also they wanted, they don't want a fully self-service data platform. Like they wanted to discover the data through the natural language queries, access the
Hmm.
data, raise a request if it is an access required, go to a different approval process. And also they wanted to have that ask the questions in a natural language to return the response. They don't want to write any SQL queries because they're not interested in that one. So
Right.
these are the some of the things the business is asking. And
Mm.
also some of the things like there is a in typical, they if they need to answer a certain query of a user or somebody else, they typically go to three different, four different systems to get an answers to give an accurate answer. It's basically streamlining the workflows. They don't want to uh, they wanted to reduce the time spent on it. Like, can we have a system where
Mm.
I can ask the question, it can do all the things for me? So
Right.
these are some of the constant ask from the both the technologies and the business. Like,
Yeah.
how can I be there? How can I leverage these technologies? So my work is around like how can I enable these
Yeah.
features to the business. So that's the way my role shifted from. I think it's expanded a lot, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think in today's world, right, we need answers like now, right? And
Now,
also
right.
the answer should be in a form that you can take actions on it, right? Especially for the
Yeah.
business stakeholders, right? You cannot give in bits and pieces. It should come with a holistic package and say, hey, here you go. This is what we saw. This is what you can do, or whatever you think you can do. Right. No, that is awesome. So flipping that to the your customers, right? So business is more internal stakeholders, then flipping it to the customers, right? Across the companies you have worked so far. So how is Gen AI or Chat GPT or these kind of technologies reshaping the customer interactions? And also maybe from a perspective of highly regulated industries like finance, healthcare, etc., right? How do you deal with these challenges of being, hey, I cannot put everything outside. It has to be regulated and within the norms. How do you guys balance these two?
Um, yeah. So the customer interaction is like how we can improve the customer interaction, I would say. So
Hmm.
the generative AI is definitely demanding, like the business or the customers are demanding the more personalization. They don't want any generic answers, right?
Correct.
So,
Okay.
and also they wanted, as I said, like instant support. They don't want to
Mm-hmm.
wait for that's a fair ask. I would say that it's not
Yeah.
something like that's where the we as a technologies are existed here to make their things our life easy, right?
Right.
So I would say the people are looking for the more personalization, as well as whenever we are suggesting a specific things, they wanted the grounded truth. How do you
Mm-hmm.
say this? This is the way to approach it. So we like in the this we might have here these RAG techniques, right? So
Yeah.
we leverage these RAGs techniques to support the every answer that we are generating.
Mm.
So the customers are like more of the speed at they wanted the answer, as well as the more tailored to their needs. That's what
Mm.
they are looking. And
Okay.
when we are doing this one, we are making sure that all the process have any human oversight over there. Without
Okay.
human oversight, I mean, not all the system, a critical system we could think of, like always the human is watching them, human in the loop is the way to serve the clients in this highly regulated industry.
Gotcha. So if I can summarize, you were saying customers want faster, accurate, and personalized responses whenever
Yes.
they interact with an organization, right? Okay,
Yes.
that's absolutely right. Coming to the topic of what's behind the scenes of a chat GPT or any generative AI, right? We call that LLMs, right? Large language
Yeah.
models. So, LLMs like OpenAI, Gemini, these are all, we call it open, public LLMs, right? And
Mm.
companies like financial companies, right? They are healthcare companies. They are trying to do their own private LLMs, etc. So maybe for sake of myself and also the audience here, can you maybe quick description of how a public or a private LLM differs from a public LLM in terms of functionality and security?
Oh yeah. So the private LLMs, all the organizations like they have their proprietary data that's
Mm-hmm.
not available, and they have their own jargons, terminology for him, right? So the
Mm-hmm.
private, first of all, what is a private LLM? Private LLMs is like a LLM that's deployed into the security perimeter of the customers. Like even
Okay.
most of the financial regulator industries, they are not using their OpenAI of their own. They have the private deployment of OpenAI as of today, because they don't have the capability to train the models
Mm.
uh, as of today. Maybe in the future they will do that one. So these private LLMs are used and trained on the specific specific data.
Okay.
So that helping them to they will the model generate an answer that in the context or the perspective they were looking. And also with the open LLMs, like there was a very big concern of sending the data to the
Mm.
outside these models, right? So they're trying to they're going for an on-premise deployments or the cloud, hybrid cloud, private cloud deployments, so that they can freely share the data, send the data to these models to generate an answer. So there is some kind of trust they have on this
Mm.
organization having on these private LLMs.
Gotcha. So private LLMs are like secured LLMs that's deployed on customers or organizations network.
Yeah.
And public LLMs are
Yeah.
public, but the name suggests. But is there because of the privacy, are we trading off any functionalities that public LLMs offer?
These LLMs, like the private LLMs, right? So they are going to be trained on the organizations of proprietary data, and they are trying to make these workflows embedded as part of the LLMs itself. Out of the box LLMs they are training getting out of those private LLMs are like the deployments. So the more
Ah,
customization they were looking on the models, like they don't want. to build some kind of RAG system. Like RAG is just another system on top of it. Why can't I? My
Mm.
model can answer my question right away.
Mm.
So they're training these models in such a way that it will answer their questions without any further deployments.
Gotcha. So I would say then the main difference is how LLMs are the LLMs, right? Which is the models and algorithms, but the data which you train on that makes them private or public and also where they are.
Private.
Right? So
Yeah.
okay.
So
That
if the models are trained on the internal process, then they are like the tune to that model, right? The
correct.
process. So they will give an answers to that
Gotcha.
organization specific.
Absolutely, absolutely. So coming back to the AI, conversational AI, right? Definitely chatbots are the starting point, right? Like everybody, it's a nice customer application that you and I can use it, and it's very helpful for a customer. But how do you see the role of the conversational AI evolving with more powerful LLMs coming, right? Like GPT 4.0, this Gemini, Anthropic has their own powerful models. How do you see the role of conversational AI evolving?
Yeah, so I still remember a few years back, like when I go to some of the portals, if I go and ask questions, they will ask the most basic questions. And
Uh,
if I ask some kind of questions like, if I ask, "Are you open today?"
mm-hmm.
It's a relevant question, but it will not, it will say that, okay, try to customers, reach out to the customer support, right? So
Yeah.
imagine that November 2022. After that, if you go to any a chatbot on the over the internet, like they are more powerful. These LLMs make these chatbots are more powerful, and they were able to answer the most relevant contextual answers to uh, the where the user is asking, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these models, like these models make these chatbots multi-turn conversation, like the multiple conversation. It's not a one-on-one conversation. Like on the given context, it will try to answer that. Like so, these LLMs advancements in the LLMs make the LLMs are the more powerful.
Mm.
If the journey of the LLMs become a norm, the chatbots become a standard rule based to a more advanced chatbots, as well
Mm-hmm.
as they are going to be like, if you see that journey of that, we are going slowly into the agents. Like these chatbots are able to do the work for you as
Yeah.
well, not only the
Yeah.
answering the questions, like
Yeah. Yeah.
finding resolving the customer issues. So
Yeah.
the advancement, like they are becoming every day the more powerful. It's because of these
Yeah.
advancements in LLMs.
Absolutely. That's a perfect segue, Naresh. Agentic AI, right? That's
Ah,
the topic of the day again. And I know you are passionate about agentic AI. So can you just tell us like what is agentic AI, right? And then help us understand how it complements the existing AI systems or even expand our current capabilities as human beings or as automation software we have today.
okay. Maybe here I shared the two quotes from the um, before I answer the what is agentic AI.
Yeah,
So
please.
if you hear the Bill Gates around 2023 maybe in
Hmm.
one of the interview podcasts, he was mentioning that uh, he gave an example of the planning a trip to somewhere else, some
Hmm.
Europe trip, where he was going like, I'm going on a trip for 5 days or 10 days. Can you
Okay.
plan for me? In typical, we go to a travel agent. He will ask us to do the all those things, right? He said that it's going to be the agents. So agents are
Oh,
going to do the hotel booking for you, flight booking for you, and plan your day activities. Whether you should be indoor, outdoor, depends on the weather and the places where you are staying. So
oh, okay.
each agent is going to do the work for you, so that that's the future we are going heading towards with the agents.
Yeah. So
And
not only just give you an itinerary that you guys should do this day, but agent can actually do book all the things like hotels, flights, maybe tours, everything for you and say, hey, this is what you're going to do.
how about it will say that you are going to suns outside, like you carry these many sunscreen
Ah,
lotions
okay, yeah.
to that personalization, to
Awesome,
that
right? Yeah.
maybe when you are on the trip, there is something happen, there is a storm happen, you cannot
Ah,
go outside. So it will adjust your plan itinerary to fit your preferences, right? So that's where
awesome.
the agents are going to make
So future.
these
Yeah.
products complement the existing systems.
Okay.
And also, I wanted to mention one more thing is like from the Jensen, the NVIDIA CEO,
Mhm.
a month back in a keynote speak, he mentioned that the IT department is going to be an HR department of the agents. So they are
Mm.
not going to hire
Wow.
any people. They are going to hire the agents, put them in the actions to
Mm.
help the business. So that's how the agents are going to revolutionize the way we interact or serve our business. It's
Wow.
basically these agents are basically they can understand the surroundings, they learn from them, and they can do the reasoning. Like if you see that all the models, like the reasoning capabilities are increasing, right? So these agents are leveraging that reasoning capabilities to run a complex workflows, not a standard workflows one on one, like able to do a multiple workflows.
Mm.
And depends on the outcome, like the way we interact, like whenever we are trying something, we try something, if it fails we try, we refine our approach, right? So these agents also is going to be refined and achieve the more complex workflows. That's how the agents are going to uh, changing the industry. And
Mm.
we are hearing a lot of agents these days. Like I was there in a conference last year, a New York AI Summit, and I was looking at all the products, lot of products, like they are coming with their own agents. And even the organizations also
Mm.
wanted to build the agents. I think the future, everybody build their own agents to do their work, like do the pay the
Mm.
bills, or I don't know what we are going to do with them.
So is it
That's
that easy to build the agents, or is there like platforms available to you can build the agents on top of them?
Oh, there are a lot of platforms available to build your own agents, but
Okay.
I prefer not to jump onto those platforms. I mean, as of my
Mm.
personal experience, like you build on yourself, then see that if they can mm, and improve your productivity in building those models or running those model agents.
Okay. So I would say large part of the agents is definitely technology where you leverage the LLM models or something, but also the business processes knowledge should be there, right? Like if you are saying that, hey, do this, if something happened here, no, not do this, or also the agents will learn itself. So the how important is the knowing the functional or business process while developing these agents?
I see that agents, like you can take, so the agents behind the scenes is a model.
Hmm.
LLM models it, right?
Right.
So if you wanted the agents to serve your business, maybe you have a domain specific model,
Ah,
and
okay.
the
Gotcha.
model then build
Mm.
on top of the agent so that it will answer. I think that's where we are heading towards. I would say that we are still using these open source models, but more domain specific is the way to see to use these, put these LLMs into the actions.
Gotcha, gotcha. Cool. So with definitely you are in the industry that you hear a lot about it, right? Ethical AI, right? Because
Mm.
now this a lot of AI is coming in, a lot of LLM, different kind of things, right? Ethical AI is big, is definitely a growing concern, right? And there is a lot of scrutiny on what frameworks, what practices found effective or failed, etc. Just to reduce like hallucination or bias in the AI models. So what are your thoughts? Do you guys use any kind of frameworks or anything to balance that out, making sure that whatever you're putting out is fair and it's not biased?
Uh, yeah, so we are looking basically the fairness in these models that we are putting in action in the business, right?
Hmm.
So the fairness. comes from the diverse data sets. Like if you are trained on the models on a biased data set, then definitely they are going to give you biased answers. So we try to have our models trained on the diverse data sets and regularly auditing these models output as well, like whether they are generating the response as per the expected, like as per the business or the organization's controls in place.
So,
And also, most of the times we have the human in the loop, like the having a
mm,
domain experts to validate the
mm,
output of these models. Like if it is something like very critical, like definitely the human should be there, watch the response of the models before we are giving to we are serving the clients or customers. And also the feedback is like these models also over the time with the feedback they get improved. Like if the model generated an answer, then you tell that okay, you generated an answer, this is not specific, like the giving a feedback to that so that model refines the outputs. So these are the some of the ways. And also having there are a lot of ethical AI frameworks are coming up
okay.
there. They will help you to mitigate this bias or the hallucinations out of these models. So
Mm.
they are still in the I would say that a preliminary, maybe they have to, it's a long way to mature them, but definitely there is these frameworks are going to be matured and we are going to put them in place to make sure that the fairness of these models are put.
Gotcha. So it's probably some kind of like a committees built inside the organizations first to validate the outputs, right? Right. Once it's
Yeah.
to their satisfaction, that's when you uh,
Yeah.
release it to the more like, customers outside the organization also. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Makes sense. So, coming to your career journey, right? Again, reflecting of your career journey so far, it's really amazing. Some from the software engineering piece to the cloud to now maybe leading bigger AI projects. Maybe you can shed some light on what are the you think are some of the key or pivotal moments that maybe shaped or changed or your leadership style so that you can manage large scale AI projects going forward.
Oh yeah. There are a lot of moments I could
Yeah.
recollect, reflect on it. Definitely, I would say that it is leading these large scale data projects, right? Definitely taught me the one lesson. I would say that the business first, serving the business first. The
Mhm.
technology is the next. I always, that's a learning, like for me in my throughout my career. Like I see the technology as a tool to help the business problem.
Yeah.
and and having and also I try to those were the times like the decisions are not based on the data. We try to impose like build a culture of data driven decision making in the organizations. That's what I try to do throughout my career.
Mhm.
And also it was during the COVID time. Where we all know that the market shifted a lot, like on the COVID time, and then there was a movement. The tools today the data tools are far matured than 4 years back.
Mhm.
That was the time like there was a scenario like the non-technical people, they wanted to do the lot of analytics on top of
Mm.
their data. They have their
Right.
specific data and they wanted to join with the uh, enterprise data that we have. We have the data in place, but there is no way to access it. And even if they access it, they wanted to join with their proprietary, like their reference data. They got it from the market. So
Okay.
that was the time we built a sandbox kind of environment. So that helped the non-technical people to bring their the reference data to the systems and join
Mm.
with the existing core enterprise
Yeah.
data to get the more insights, and that help them to generate the more revenues for our clients.
Ah,
So
okay.
this is one of the a pivotal moment I would say in my career, because that's very close to me, because that was very tight and a lot of COVID. People are stressed, markets are stressed, but we delivered that innovative solutions within no time. That's how I would say that. And also we it was the time like the same thing happened with when we started this big data journey a few years
Mm-hmm.
back. Like there was that, again, the tools are not matured and platforms are not matured, but we wanted to build a data driven culture. So we try to work with these lot of vendors, uh, enhancing their platforms. So
Mm.
while we are serving our clients. So these are some of the movements I could say that. And also a few years back, I get to meet one of my mentor. So
Mm.
he told me like I always believe that okay, when I'm ready I will take an action. But
Mm-hmm.
he told me that you take an action before you're ready, then only you will be ready for that. So
Yeah,
that's some of
great
the
advice.
movements like in my life, it changed my career trajectory, I would say that.
Ah, gotcha. So I think you cannot wait for a perfect moment to do something, but just do it and make it perfect while you're doing it, right? Or make it better while doing it.
Yeah.
That's awesome advice. Awesome.
Maybe I'll share one more code. I think
Yeah, please.
it's his proprietary, like his brain. He always says that like you don't do the things without fear. You do the things, but anyway you do the things. That's what the
Mm.
courage. Like the courage is
Yeah.
not having a fear. Courage is
Yes.
like having the fear, but still you do that one. So
Mm.
that's every day. I can think of that. I'll try to reflect on that statement.
Awesome.
That make me to take a what I can do the next.
That is awesome. And also have great to have really great mentors, right, throughout your journey. So yeah, definitely. So talking about mentors, right? Maybe the wrapping up question before we go into the question answer session. So what kind of advice you give to the aspiring AI professionals to how to maybe learn new things or aspire to lead teams and drive some impactful changes in their organization? What would be your advice to the AI professionals coming up now?
Uh, yeah, I think this is something I mentioned in a different way earlier. So like try to solve a problem that help the business and use the technology as a tool, but don't go behind this technology, or don't emotionally attach with a certain technology. That's the mistake most of the people will do that one.
Mm.
I mean, even I did that one. I went behind the certain technology. Okay, something is came. Oh, let's try to use this. Try to put it there. Try to fit it into the system, even though that's not solving the business problems. So
Gotcha.
always see that technology as a tool to solve a certain business problems that
Mm.
help you to impact, create an impact in wherever you are working. And also, the second thing I would say that having a strong communication skills is very important. I still struggle. I'm vulnerably sharing here. So having a strong communication skills is the key, the second
Mm-hmm.
next after your technology, if you wanted
Mm-hmm.
to succeed in your career. And also, the other thing I try to tell to the lot of people saying that they will come to me and ask like, how can I get into the like start my AI journey?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have an opportunity to do. So it's not like you have an opportunity. You go and try to solve the problems that 100 different problems available on the internet. Like you take any of the problems, take a baby steps, try
Mm.
to make 1% improvement in every day, and try to solve the problems on your own. Maybe that may be a great idea, we don't know. It's like you have to take the initiatives and go and try to do that one. And the other thing is, like as I said, like the courage. Like you, everybody had the fear of failure, but go and take an action. Let's see where it will take you. And that definitely helped me. Like I was the one guy who had, I was very introvert. Never get an opportunity. I mean, I never go out and talk to the people, make the network, professional networking. But because of that, my mentor put me in that situation. Like you go and make the 10 people, 10
Mm.
network connection this month.
Yeah. For
So,
them. Yeah.
so I was surprised. Like when I go and talk to the people, I never expected that they will respond back. I always think that they never talk to me, but
Yeah.
surprisingly, they came back to me and they were talking to me and they were expressing their ideas, and
Yeah.
I'm sharing my ideas, and so these are the some of the things. And like I would say that embrace the experimentation,
Okay.
and encourage the innovation, and always try to deliver something that impact somebody else in a
Mm.
good way.
In a good way.
Mm.
Awesome, awesome. Great, great thoughts and great advice for everybody actually on the call for everybody. So, Naresh, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us, right? And taking time today. If you have a few more minutes, we have three, four questions on the chat box, and I'll try my best to
We can
ask
take
them
a
to you.
couple of questions.
Yeah,
We can take a
absolutely.
couple of questions.
So I think some of them you already answered. Right? One of the question is what soft skills are essential for AI professional aspiring to lead teams? Which you
Oh,
I think you
okay.
already covered. Maybe you can just give a brief overview on. Yeah.
Oh, so the communication skills that aligns your team and stakeholders, like you talk in their terms. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a communication skills. I would say that like communication skills is anyways communication skills, but somebody, those who are talking, you try to talk in their terms, and their way of styling is the way to build a better relationship with your stakeholders, and
Mm-hmm.
that will help you to clear a lot of ambiguities, and setting the right that will set the right expectations with your clients or stakeholders.
Gotcha. So communication is the key there. Another question we have is talking about training sets, right, for private LLMs. The question is, as of now, organizations might not have a lot of stored data to train AI native applications. So, how to develop the training sets and ensure efficacy of these models?
Mm, so there are certain tools are like the synthetic data generation tools.
Okay.
They are available. Maybe we can explore those things. Like they will try to generate the more your organization. I mean, if you have a small set of data, they will take the data and they'll try to generate the synthetic data. That way you can get a more diverse data sets. But still, it's a synthetic. You can
Mhm.
use that one. That's a
Yeah.
way to be generating some of the data sets for these models, I would say.
Yeah, I think one of the things you mentioned earlier is not in the AI space. Before, whenever there is no data, you can buy some reference data or something, and you try to complement that with your
Yeah.
internal data sets, right? Okay, that can be one way too. Cool. So I'll have two more questions, and we will wrap it up. The question is, as AI models become more complex, how can organizations improve transparency in AI decision making?
Um, I think so. It is like each answer generated by the LLM models need to be verified by a domain experts. Somebody human in the loop is the
Hmm.
way to generate the verify the output of these models. And also the RAG techniques, right? Most of the people if you ask me, 90% of the AI application today are the RAGs. So they will try to ground your answer. The model generate the answer generated by the a model are grounded by the references. So that's a way to enforce the transparency, and also having a regular updates on the models. Like these models easily get drifted because they trained on some specific old data, and the data may be changed after that. So having a regular updates is a way to generate it, having a transparency in these models output.
Transparency ones. Gotcha. And human in the loop and transparency, yeah,
Mm.
in the what you are building, right? Absolutely. So maybe I'll just one more question. We have only 1 minute left. So the last question is, what are some overlooked challenges in bringing Gen AI or agentic AI to scale in your organization, or maybe
Um,
in general to scale up these AI models?
I would say that we are still in the very early stages of putting them into these models in the production, because
Hmm.
the agents are still maturing, and there are a lot of concerns are happening. The responses generated by these models. So I have not done yet, to be frank. So
So,
we
okay.
still exploring that. The agent boom is like it was picking slowly, and this year we started trying to build that. Maybe this question I would answer in the latter part of time.
No worries, no worries. I think few more questions are there, but I know we ran out of time. So we will wrap up here. Naresh, again, thank you so much for taking time and talking to us today. And good luck with book. I look forward to reading your book, right? And
Oh
hope
yeah,
more
definitely.
and
I
more
will share with
content.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Uh,
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me here. It was a nice conversation. Thank you.
Thanks, Naresh. Thank you.
Thank you
Bye.
so much, Mohana. Thank you, Naresh, for an insightful session. We truly appreciate the knowledge and the expertise you shared. And we hope our audience found valuable takeaways from the discussions. A big thank you to everyone who joined and listened patiently. We tried our best to address all the questions, but we are running out of time. So if you have any more questions or wish to dive deeper, feel free to reach out to us or connect Naresh on LinkedIn. We'll be happy to answer all the questions. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, Naresh. Bye.